I need to talk about jobs today. And both Canada and US released its latest job numbers on Friday. And when you first look at them, they're not very alarming. They look pretty benign. But when you start to dig a little bit beneath the surface, there are some concerning trends there. Canada's unemployment rate holds steady. The US saw a slight uptick. But when you dig a little bit deeper, there are some warning signs that could hint at some bigger economic trouble, possibly even a looming recession. I don't want to be alarmist here, but this is where the numbers are pointing. So I want to break it all down in this video. Now, I want to start with Canada. And the unemployment rate in February stayed at 6.6%. That matched January's 3-month low, and it beat expectations that it would creep back up to 6.7%. But there is a catch here. This wasn't because more people are finding jobs. It seems as though people are actually leaving the job market altogether. The participation rate, that fell to 65.3%. That's the first decrease since September of last year. And while net employment did technically rise by 1,100 jobs, that is way below the 20,000 new jobs that economists were expecting and hoping for. Now, down in the US, the job numbers look even shakier. The unemployment rate, that actually ticked up to 4.1% from 4.0. That was slightly worse than expected. Now, like here in Canada, the participation rate, that slipped. In the US, it came in at 62.4%, and the employment population ratio dropped to 59.9%. Now, something that really sticks out at me here is the U6 unemployment rate, and that is a number that includes people who are working part-time because they can't find a full-time job. That had a big jump, up to 8% from 7.5%. So that is another clear sign that people are struggling to find stable jobs. Now, in the US, they did add 151,000 jobs in February. That beat January's number, but again, it fell short of expectations. Consensus had that number at 160,000 new jobs. There were some sectors that showed strength. I think of healthcare, financial services, but we saw job losses in retail and federal government roles and a few other sectors as well that raised some questions. Let's unpack why these numbers have caught my attention. First of all, in Canada, the drop in the participation rate, that's most concerning to me. When you have fewer people actively looking for work, that can signal a growing pessimism about job prospects. Are people just giving up on finding jobs? Well, we don't want that. And if that trend continues, that could weigh a lot on economic growth. Now, in the US, the rise in unemployment rate and the sharp increase that we saw in that U6 figure, those are red flags to me. It's not just that more people are out of work, it's that more people are stuck in those part-time roles that they don't even want in the first place, but that's where we're at right now. And in aggregate, that would point to sort of weaker job market than the headline numbers might suggest. So if you just watch those headline numbers, you have to dig a little deeper to get the full picture. So even though we saw those job gains that were reported, they're concentrated in sectors like healthcare. Meanwhile, federal government jobs dropped by 10,000. That's partly due to layoffs and partly due to spending cuts. And there are probably a lot more jobs to come in that space as well. I noted that retail jobs also declined, and we saw several major sectors that had little or no growth. And if consumer spending slows, which often happens, of course, when there's job instability, that could trigger broader economic weakness. And I'm not just crying wolf here. I'm thinking that this could actually happen. So what does it all mean? Well, for one, it really puts the central banks, both Canadian and US, in a pretty tricky spot here. If the labor market weakness continues, that could force both the Bank of Canada and the Fed to consider rate cuts to stimulate the economy. And some of that is baked in right now. We have those estimates, but it could put pressure for more and even deeper cuts than they probably would like. But when we see that happening, if we cut rates too soon or too far, of course, that could risk fueling inflation again, something none of us want to see. I also know markets could start pricing in recession risks, especially if we see an acceleration in these job losses. When that happens, businesses may become more cautious with both hiring and investment, and that could create sort of a feedback loop of slower growth. A question that has to be asked, of course, is this a full-blown recession warning? And my take on that is probably not yet. But I've got to be serious here. These job numbers, they do really show me that there are some cracks forming. Rising unemployment rate in the US, falling participation, a weak job growth across multiple sectors. Those are certainly signs that the economists will be watching closely. It's also worth noting that the sectors that are seeing the job losses, like retail and government, are some of the key parts to both economies, both here in Canada and south of the border. If we continue to see these layoffs, if we see consumer demand faltering anymore, then no doubt in my mind that things could get rougher. And as always seems to be the case, the next few months are going to to be critical here. If we see the labor market weakness continue, expect more conversations about the recession risks that we might be facing. As I said, rate cuts may come sooner than expected. Businesses may start tightening up on their spending. Now, if we do see the job market stabilize, on the other hand, this could just be a temporary slowdown. The big question, I guess, is will consumer spending, hiring bounce back, or is this just the start of a longer downturn? What do you think? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Now, I want to move to tariffs, and Ontario Premier Doug Ford, he certainly isn't holding back on his response to the tariffs that we've been hit with. He is now hitting the U.S. with a 25% surcharge on electricity exports, and he's fighting against the American tariffs that he says are hurting Ontarians. He says President Trump's tariffs are a disaster for the U.S. economy. They're making life more expensive for American families and businesses. Until the threat of tariffs is gone for good, Ontario won't back down. We'll stand strong, use every tool in our toolkit, and do whatever it takes to protect Ontario. So he's making no bones about it. He's saying that Ontario is ready to stand its ground until those tariffs are gone. Now, the new fee I'm talking about here is called the Tariff Response Charge, and it adds $10 for every megawatt of power that is sent to the U.S., and that could bring in $300,000 to $400,000 every day. Ontario says that it will use that to help local workers and businesses that have been hit hardest by the U.S. tariffs. The Ontario Energy Minister has already ordered the province's electricity operator to start adding the power charge for power that is being sent to Michigan, Minnesota, and New York. And Ford isn't stopping right there. He's also saying that the fee could go even higher. And if things don't change, he says that Ontario might cut off power exports to the U.S. altogether. Now, the province currently sends about $700 million worth of electricity to the U.S. every year. That is enough to power 1.5 million homes. Some other provinces are stepping in too. Manitoba now wants government approval before signing any new power deals with the U.S., and Quebec is thinking about limiting some electricity transfers as well. Now, about a year ago on this channel, I spoke about the social media app Blossom, and I noted at the time that they were pushing up against 100,000 members. As of today, that stands at 250,000 plus. If you love investing, you will love Blossom. This is a social network that is built specifically for investors, where there are now over 250,000 members who are sharing their portfolios, their ideas, and that's backed up by what they actually are investing in. The app has a 4.7 rating in the App Store and was ranked an essential financial app of 2024 by Apple. Blossom is packed with tools to help you become a better investor. I'm talking about tools like dividend tracking and forecasting, in-depth portfolio analysis. There are Duolingo style investing courses. In fact, I have a course on ratios on their platform, earnings and dividend calendars, and most importantly, the thousands of incredible posts from their amazing community. If you want to see what I own in my portfolio today, my username is Mark B. You can look me up on the platform. You can join Blossom for free. You can use the QR code you see on your screen right now, and I will put a link in the description of this video. Now, my last story today is about the growing number of Canadians who are essentially hitting the brakes on their U.S. road trips. Statistics Canada reported a 23% drop in Canadian resident return trips by car from the U.S. in February compared with last year. And that is now the second straight month of year-over-year declines. First time since March of 2021 that back-to-back drops have been recorded. And this comes, of course, as a lot of Canadians are speaking out and boycotting U.S. vacations and products, of course, following the U.S. president's threats to use economic force to annex Canada and to impose harsh tariffs. In light of these threats, a lot of Canadians are opting just to stay home. Now, another reason for this decline might be that the Canadian dollar, of course, has weakened so much against the Americans, so that makes trips south of the border much more expensive. A note from this report as well, it's not just road trips that are down. StatsCan also noted a 2.4% drop in return trips by air compared to the same month last year. The U.S. is still definitely the top international destination for Canadians, but as we see these costs rising, as we see these political tensions heating up, there are definitely fewer people who are making the trip. Now, that is all for today's episode. As I mentioned, please check out the Blossom social app. You can check out my portfolio on there. I hope to see you all on Wednesday. Thank you very much for watching the video.